The way we have been seeing the competitive landscape for Azurite shape up is very aggro oriented, whether that be straight on hyper aggro, regular aggro, some kind of mid-range aggro. There does seem to be a lot of it in the format right now. And so what I wanted to do in this video is showcase what I think is a good anti-aggro option. We've adapted one of our Sapphire Steel lists that uses the Imperial Bow to now include Robin Hood and some other tech cards. And I want to show you this match in the two simulations against Emerald Amethyst and Amethyst Steel Midrange. These are probably two of the more popular decks in the format right now, and if you're at locals or anything, you are probably seeing a lot of Amethyst, and if that's the case, this might be a deck for you to consider. So I did go 2-2 with this deck, and I'll talk about it more in the deck profile, which will be linked in the description when I post it, but I lost to kind of a more control variant of Sapphire Steel with the Jim Hawkins. I lost to the Jim Hawkins shift, actually. That's what made me lose the game, unfortunately. And I lost against Ruby Sapphire. It seems like I'm always playing Ruby Sapphire when I test. But I did beat an Emerald Amethyst and an Amethyst Steel deck, which is what I'm showing you in simulations today. I wish I could show you the live matches, but obviously, you know, for those of you that know, you know why I can't. But again, in the description is my Discord link. When I kind of get some more time, I will be messaging in there to replace these simulations with live matches against you guys, my viewers. So if you want to be featured in a video, make sure you join that, and we might be able to hook up and play. Anyways, in this particular matchup, you can see that we've established a bit of an interesting board here, double popsicle and the mouse armor of all things. But we have a Robin Hood, and we've been saving the Imperial Bow, waiting for the opponent to throw out that evasive threat, whether it be Genie or if you're going up against Emerald Steel with like Diablos, etc. You want to hold the Imperial Bow for the exerted threat to be on board after it, the evasive threat to be on board, and then after it exerts itself, then you can dump the Imperial Bow. It costs a total of 3 ink, 2 to activate, 2 to play, 1 to activate. Give that evasive ability and challenger 2 to a hero character. Robin Hood 1-drop, Robin Hood shift 3 for the 5-drop Robin Hood, Simba, Fighting Prince, which you see in our hand, Calhoun, etc. There's a lot of targets. Again, we'll go over that in the deck profile. With the resist from the mouse armor, you can see that this Robin Hood is able to survive a lot of interaction here, and even this Merlin Rabbit on the field won't be able to take out my Robin Hood if they choose to crash it, which they do for the card draw, but you'll see why here, because they Tamago the Robin Hood for 5 lore. Absolutely crazy, but it's still not enough. Again, an evasive threat, not a problem. We're going to now drop the Hiram and get our draw engines online, so you can just see how much gas a deck like this can have against aggro. Between the Popsicles, the Fortispheres, the Beast Tragic Heroes, which is also a hero, and the Hiram, you have a lot of draw to get through your deck, and of course the Sail the Azurite Sea. You are absolutely going to see one of 4, yes, 4 Imperial Bows in your deck, and a number of different heroes, whether it be Robin Hood, Calhoun, Beast Tragic Hero, Simba, etc. And you will be able to get these big threats on board that aggro just can't deal with. Calhoun and Robin Hood combined will absolutely decimate the aggro board. And then if you're playing things like Grab Your Swords, which you see here in our hand, it's just extra. I mean, it might even be overkill, but you can see here this whole board will end up getting wiped out by a Grab Your Swords, except for this rabbit. But the opponent only has 1 card in hand. So we know from, again, seeing how Emerald Amethyst plays, and if you watch my deck profile on it, I talk about how this deck can afford to keep going wide, because cards like Genie and Rabbit will just replace themselves, giving them the natural ability to continue to drop threats every turn without running out of gas very frequently. And then of course they have Clarabelle to just refill their hand. But you don't care about any of that, because as you can see here, you'll just constantly deal with their board. You'll maintain your own card advantage. As you can see here, they can't do enough to deal with your board. They can't Cloud Kicker away a Calhoun or a Robin Hood, so that's like 2 very stable, constant threats that you have on board. You know, the opponent just can't do anything here. It's over. The Robin Hood survived from turn 1, right, from the shift, the healing between the Popsicles there even, and then of course, as you get higher up in the curve, you can just start dropping Baymax, and not only do you keep your huge threats alive and healed up after they challenge, because you want to challenge with this deck, obviously, right? Robin Hoods, Calhouns, Tinkerbells, Simba, Fighting Prince. You'll just heal them up with the Baymax. And this is why I opted for Mouse Armor, because it's a 2-cost item that works with Hiram, obviously. It has a decent utility in giving resist. But I didn't want to play Cogsworth. I'd rather play Baymax, because in this scenario, like, you can just see the instant lore gain, really nice. The ability to keep your Robin Hoods healthy, your Hirams healthy, your Simba Fighting Prince, which is a 5/7 healthy. it's just really good synergy. But yeah, you can see here the opponent can't do anything. Even if they have to shift Tinkerbell here, it's going to cost them 5, and they do. They're going to draw 4. Look at our board. We have game on board anyway, so there's nothing they can do. That's a wrap. Let's go on to game 2 after we quest with, okay, Robin Hood, then quest with Baymax, heal a Hiram for 2, and win the game. I'm telling you, Baymax is pretty underrated. I know I picked up my copies. I hope you guys did too. So in this next matchup here, we're going to be going again on the draw against Amethyst Steel. So this is definitely a deck that has been picking up a lot of steam. I did a few deck profiles on this ink pairing, both like hyper aggro, regular aggro, mid-range. I haven't covered a control variant, but I think that one is probably too slow for this format right now. But yeah, in this video, unfortunately, we revealed the Imperial Bow by inking it, so, you know, the opponent might be, you know, if it was a real person, that is, be a little bit less inclined to play into it. But like I said, you generally want to hold the Imperial Bow as a turn 3 play because it costs 2 to play it, 1 to activate. So if you go turn 2 Calhoun, turn 3 Imperial Bow to give Calhoun the boost, that's really strong. The opponent here drops a Tinkerbell and Mr. Smee. And this is a bit of a dicey situation because we don't necessarily want to exert anything for that potential shift Tinkerbell, but if they don't have to shift and they want to quest with the evasive Tinkerbell, thinking that, you know, Steel can't really do much against this Tinkerbell, I'll be super happy with that. So we're just going to go ahead, play out a few cards and items, that is, to redraw. We have the Hiram ready to go. We're going to go ahead and fire the cannons away, the Mr. Smee, to slow them down. They do indeed quest with the Tinkerbell to gain 2 lore, and they play out a rabbit. So here we're going to drop the Robin Hood into the Inkwell and deploy that Imperial Bow on the Calhoun, challenge into the Tinkerbell, take no damage because of resist 1, and we have evasive, well, during our turn. And we didn't even need the strength boost in this case, but, you know, we did have challenger 2 on the Calhoun, making her a 5/2 body with resist 1. Now the opponent does have a pretty good follow-through play, but at least the Calhoun trades with the Mim Fox, and they drop a Mr. Smee. But just from that one interaction, we've actually clawed back tempo, I would say, in this matchup already, despite being on the draw. And we have our card draw engine rolling. Unless they have a Zeus to follow up to fire the cannons, this Hiram is going to redraw again. We have double fire the cannons, double grab your swords. Yes, the Steel Amethyst deck is very powerful, and you will see that. The opponent must have been just like on, like the CPU must have been on multiple fire the cannons because they've already played 2. They might have a 3rd one in hand. That's the only reason they would just like constantly play these out. But regardless, like we could Baymax heal, but I'm just going to pretend like, you know, we don't have that. Quest with Hiram, pop the Fortisphere, draw 2. No need to fear Clarabelle in this matchup. Once again, fire the cannons away the Smee, so it's taking 1 damage from being exerted, and then we are able to finish off with the fire the cannons. They do have 8 lore, but we have a Robin Hood on board. They're going to quest with the Goat. Nope, take out the Hiram, okay. We'll be able to take out that Hiram next turn as well. Okay, ink a Tinkerbell and play out a Tinkerbell. And I guess I trade the... No, I don't trade the Robin Hood. I put my opponent on. If you want to quest again with the Goat, go ahead. But I would anticipate that you might challenge to prevent the Robin Hood shift. But no, they have the fire the cannons. So they did indeed have 3 fire the cannons. The Tinkerbell here, just going to finish up the Goat, deal 2 damage to the other readied Goat, and then be able to... Well, I should have done this first. Play Popsicle first before I challenge. See the Robin Hood. Didn't make a difference. I probably shouldn't even bother inking here, but I do. Heal up the Tinkerbell. Gain 2 lore out of it. The Goat would have to challenge into the Tinkerbell anyway, so the Crab here doesn't really make a difference. The Goat does indeed trade with the Tinkerbell. They're on 12 lore, and they've got 2 threats on board. But again, this Imperial Bow is threatening to take out the Tinkerbell if it exerts, but I'm not even going to let that go down. I'm just going to double grab your swords to clear the board. The opponent's on 1 card, so I'm not really too fearful. I've got a Baymax questing for 2, and I'm able to play out the rest of my hand. I'm in control. They top deck their 3rd Goat, and I'm just like, okay, yep, like, I mean, Amethyst doing what Amethyst does, right? Top deck White Rose and Goats. So this one makes it a little bit challenging, but I'm going to be able to quest with the Baymax here, give it resist 1, so the Goat can only do 3 damage into it. They would need Goat plus Fox again in order to take out the Baymax, which they might have. No, they don't. They just throw the damage into the Baymax, which is fine because Baymax can't heal itself. We do get a Hiram off the top, which is, again, really strong here. So deploy that, draw 2. I really should not be inking the Robin Hoods, but, you know, in order to play out this Prince, we're going to go ahead and do that. Give resist 2 to the Prince now, which is pretty strong because that means it will survive a Fox interaction. unless they throw the goat and the fox into it, that is. But the Calhoun is going to be able to trade with the goat, so yeah, prevent that fox interaction from taking out the prince, which will protect our Baymax. Okay, they do have crab, which will allow now by the 1 strength, from the 5 strength total on the rabbit to take out the prince. But that's okay. We're going to quest with the Huron, banish, draw 2. We get a Simba fighting prince, which we're going to deploy here, and we're going to deal 2 damage to the Diablo just to prevent the quest 1. And then do we challenge the rabbit there with the Baymax? Yeah, just clean up the opponent's board since the game is kind of dicey. The redraw is just crazy for Amethyst Steel. They have 4 cards in hand. They drop the Genie, so again, something that might seem like a threat. They challenge into the Baymax to take it out with the crab, and they are threatening 19 next turn, so we have to be very careful. We're going to give the resist 1 to the Simba fighting prince, so he takes 2 damage, and we're going to be able to deal 2 damage to the Mr. Smee. I should have quested with Hiram first after I gave the resist 1, and I should be banishing the Imperial Bow since I have more copies of it in the deck, so a slight misplay there. We draw into Tinkerbell, which will help us clean up the Smee. Now the opponent will only go to 16 instead of 18. We draw Prince as well, put it into play, exert it to protect Hiram and the Simba fighting prince, and I'm now threatening lethal, which means they have to answer my board. They do have the answer in the Zeus to take out the Tinkerbell right away, and then they're going to drop another Genie. But at this point, Imperial Bow, give it to the Simba crash into the into the Genie, and then deal 2 damage to the ready Genie. We can play the Baymax. Actually, can we play Baymax and Beast Tragic Hero? I might be able to. Oh, drawn to grab your sword, sure, and take out the Genie, so don't even let them get to 16. Yeah, what do I need to do that for? Ink, a Tragic Hero, play a Baymax, heal up Simba fighting prince. We're at 19. The opponent won't be able to deal with this board. There's too much willpower. Just quest, go for game. So yeah, stay tuned for the deck profile. Again, I'll go over some more of my matchup specific stuff in that video. If you made it this far, though, thank you for watching. Quantum is out.